and you can clip that to me later.
I would.
How you doing this morning, man?
Good, brother. I've got a day to do things because usually I'm working every day. So gratitude kicks in when I can do other things. But I'm
I,
doing real
I
good.
I see you got all the masks in the background there.
Oh man, this is about 2/3 of my collection. It's a bunch of them. See, so
Wow, man, I gotta come over there and take a look at that sometime.
please come put them crusty feet in my pool.
I'm waiting on the invitation from you.
Hey man, this summer I'll make it happen. We'll go sip a brown liquor by the pool and listen to some jazz. Okay? I
You
promise.
got it, bro.
I promise
All
that.
right. So I'll make this as painless as possible. So you and I have, I've known you over 20. Can you believe it's been about 20 years now, Gino?
Amazing. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've always admired your writing style, and I can't wait to read anything that you are going to publish in now or in the near future. But you and I've been talking about, and I've been sharing with you some of my writing clips over the past few years. And so this interview is to accompany a documentary that we're making to go along with the book, which will be published, before the end of this year. And just a reminder, the title is, The Ghost at the Table, a memoir of surviving life, the streets, and corporate America. And so I just want to ask you this morning, in terms of conversations that we've had, what do you think about my writing style or my writing style as an author? Any thoughts?
One, I was surprised in one sense and not
Hmm.
surprised in another. And let me explain that. In summary, I love your writing style, and this is
Hmm.
just to pat you on the back. You have a way of pulling the reader in that you almost can't even teach it. You know, I've done a little study on effective writing, and it's kind of the same as a trial lawyer. You're trying to take the person who's consuming the information and turn
Hmm.
it from a spectator into a participant. In
Hmm.
every one of your stories, you make me
Hmm.
feel like I'm sitting right there watching these things unfold and with a kind of emotional investment. But your writing style also is special because you use such imagery
Hmm.
that it creates a mental image.
Hmm.
You said that one thing that I chuckled about was it was as obvious as a cockroach in lemonade. And and just that you say no more because you can't
Hmm.
get the point better than that as to
Hmm.
how conspicuous this was. Now you could have called it conspicuous, but you
Hmm.
said it was obvious as a cockroach in lemonade. But your writing style, it flows well. It makes the reader invest. It's funny. It's tragic. It's candid. It was really candid. I
Hmm.
really enjoyed that. Here's what surprised me. I had
Hmm.
no idea you could write like that. I know you as one of the smartest brothers that I know, but I had
Hmm.
no idea that you could write like that. And people are going to love this book, man. They're going
Great.
to love this book. And because it
Hmm.
touches everybody. I don't think there's a person that can read your book that doesn't get touched by it. Not just entertained, but
Hmm.
something where they reach into it and say, that's me. That's my experience. So
Hmm.
I think it's going to have amazing success.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because my thinking around the book is, even though I'm an African American man, and I want to make sure that I reach that audience first and foremost, at the end of the day, it really is about struggle. And everybody's got a story to tell, and everybody's had the struggle. And I hope they can see themselves in some of my struggles and learn some lessons that I could have learned early on. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You've accomplished that.
So speaking of that, though, in terms of the story, do you think it's relevant today in terms of what I'm talking about as it relates to the world today and tomorrow? Do you think the story is very relevant?
Oh, absolutely. Because you're brave enough to touch on the things that have inspired, challenged, haunted, and even doomed our society. Uh,
Hmm.
Race, class, poverty, uh, uh, um, LGBTQ, uh, homelessness, uh, pimps, both pimps in the neighborhood and pimps in the boardroom.
And then boardroom, yeah.
I mean, you touch on colorism. You talked about the one brother, his khaki skin was had uneven tones to it. You know,
Hmm.
that pulls in the focus on both in the black community, but in the kind of general community, the focus on skin tone and how
Yeah.
not just the color, it's a judgment. I think that you touched on everything possible that someone
Hmm.
with your experience could have touched on that would make it. Remember I said in the beginning that everybody will be able to reach into your book and find something because you're touching not only on your experiences, but the common experiences of kind of average Americans, average people around the world at every level. And that's
Yeah.
why I think it's relevant today. And it's mainly relevant because you were so brave.
Hmm.
So brave. You know, one of the things that writers can't afford to do, and of the many mistakes that writers make, is to be a coward about the things that you really want to say. You
Hmm.
didn't. You didn't let that constrain you. You were really brave. I'm so proud of you. Um, it just was a very, very brave self-autopsy of
Yeah.
sorts. It was a
See.
self-autopsy because not only were you laying out what you had experienced,
Hmm.
but there were times like one chapter you talked about your dad, right? It was
Hmm.
reliving some of that stuff, you know, and going back and looking at it through this adult prism. And that takes a lot of courage to do that. It really does. And to lay your stuff out there raw for millions of people to read is a big deal. Then you should be proud of yourself.
So let me ask you this, my friend. When I use the metaphor of the ghost at the table, or the ghost also being that GPS inside all of us, whether it's your ancestors, your father, um, are there ghosts that guide your relationships in your life and give you the GPS to be able not only survive but to thrive?
Yes, but I want to address ghosts. I was thinking about that
Okay.
because the title is really powerful. When people think of ghosts, most people think of haunting and something that's the opposite of positive.
Hmm.
In my life, many of the ghosts have been just angels with bad lighting, right? They bring something, some big event that was very painful, and you realize later that you had to have that pain to get ready to do something that was either very positive or helpful or very meaningful after that. And we call that thing that haunted us into greatness a ghost, when really it's kind of an angel with a bad PR agent. The ghosts in your life haunt you because there are things you should do, things you should think, things you should be. And my ghosts are very similar to yours. Part of why we are so connected is because we
Hmm.
both grew up, you know, from the bottom of the hill and had to spend life walking up the hill. Um,
Hmm.
but the biggest ghost slash angel in my life has been being brave enough to figure out who I am.
Hmm.
And your book shows that you're well on that journey because not only are you honest with the audience about what you experienced and what you think about it, but you're honest with the audience about you continuing to examine yourself. You
Hmm.
know, and now there were external circumstances when you're in the boardroom and when you're in corporate America.
Hmm.
That's the same Reginald Meebane from
Hmm.
North Memphis. Okay. That's the same dude. He's got a better suit and he got a little bit of hair on his face, but that's the same 10-year-old little boy, uh, with the same emotions,
Hmm.
same fears, and to be honest about who you are and then share that with unnamed readers is just a big, big step. Big step, Reggie. Big step.
I'm so glad to hear you understand that connection from the streets to the boardroom. You know, when you go to the boardroom, same players around the table, same ones at the table. So that's one of the main takeaways. And also, I think the struggles that we both have come through binds us together in terms of a brotherhood that you can't buy or sell anywhere else in the world. So I thank you for that connection and thank you for your friendship over the years. And I said I wanted to make this as painless for you as possible. So I'm going to ask you as we move forward in closing out the interview. Any other closing thoughts about whether or not you would buy this book and why, and any closing thoughts to the audience as we begin to put the final touches on the book and the documentary, sir?
Well, I'll go in reverse as to people who would watch and try to consume my words. I greatly encourage you. I urge you to try to buy this book and sit down where it's quiet and no distractions and take it all in. It's not just a book. It's really an experience. It's an opening of a door and looking into this world of Reginald Mebane. And it's a fascinating place, largely because he's been fortunate enough to have this fantastic world, rags to riches, stress to silence. I mean, he's been the whole spectrum, but that he shares it with you with such candor is something that I promise you you're going to find some of you in that book, and we'll start to reevaluate whether your ghosts are really angels. Um, I hope that you write something else too. I really do. I hope you continue to write because I know you've done a lot of things in your life, Reggie, that have been very impactful, and you got the biggest heart of any brother I've ever known. Uh, but I'm telling you that the most exciting, most fulfilling, and perhaps most meaningful thing you've ever done is yet to come in your writing. It just is, brother. So much gratitude for allowing me to be part of this experience. Much gratitude for your love. And you have if you feel a little bit of extra wind under your wings when you're out there flying, it's because I'm blowing at you, brother.
Thank you, sir. I think before I begin to cry, we can end the interview now.
All
And let's
right.
talk a little bit offline before you get back to your busy day. Thank you so much, Gino. And
Yes.
thank you for your friendship, your words of wisdom, and thank you for being who you are.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Alrighty.
All right. Let's see. How do I stop this? Mm.